Okay, good afternoon. We are here to interview Mr. Michael McDaniel, one of our science teachers, and we are proud to have him on our staff, and we'd like to find out a little bit more about your military service. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What branch of the military were you in, and for how long?
I was in the U.S. Army. I was in for 11 years, from July of 1985 until October of 1996.
What kind of work did you do while you were in the Army, and where did you do this work?
Well, I did a couple different jobs. I was an armor crewman on first an M60 tank, and then later an M1 tank. And then I was also a recruiting and retention NCO, where I recruited people to join the service. Mm-hmm. And then I finally ended my time as a readiness NCO for a unit, getting them prepared to be mobilized in case of a war.
What does it mean to be on a tank? You said you were a what on a tank?
I did all the positions on a tank. I eventually wound up as a tank commander, but you typically start as a loader or a driver, and then as you become more skilled, as you rise up in rank, then you move over to a gunner's position, and then finally from a gunner's position you move up to commanding the tank, and then possibly as a platoon sergeant, where you're in charge of a 4-tank platoon.
Oh my. And where were you when you were serving with the tanks?
Well, I did some time overseas during Desert Storm. I was also at Fort Knox, Kentucky, Fort Hood, Texas, Idaho, Gowan Field, Idaho, mm-hmm. Fort Lewis, Washington, mm-hmm. North Little Rock, Arkansas. So just a little bit of everywhere.
A little bit of everywhere, yes, sure sounds like it. And why did you join the Army?
Well, actually, I tried to join in when I was 18, right after I got out of high school, and I couldn't get the guarantees that I wanted to. That was just as the Vietnam War was ending. I wanted to fly a helicopter, at least I thought I wanted to fly a helicopter. So I went down, took my physical. They didn't offer me flying, and so I said, well, I'll check back with you later. And then I never did. So I actually, fast forward to 1985, I was 31 years old, and I got to playing with some guys that were in service. At that time, they were what we call M-Day. They did it only part-time, the National Guard. I initially joined the National Guard, mm-hmm. and then went full-time a few years later.
All right. What kinds of sacrifices did you or your family make while you were serving in all those different places?
Well, there's a lot of times I was away from my wife, and then my daughter, I missed a lot of her growing up. Elementary school, middle school. So fortunately, I was able to be stationed close by, so I could see them a lot. Mm-hmm. And of course, the overseas deployment, you didn't see them, but it wasn't Skype at that time, but you could talk to them on the phones. Mm.
How long were you overseas?
Actually, I was only overseas 93 days. So we were mobilized as replacements for the 2nd Armored Division because they were under strength. Mm. And we were pulled together from guys all over the country, up-trained for a couple of weeks at the National Training Center, mm-hmm. and then shipped overseas in 93 days, and that was it.
That was long enough.
Relatively short war for me. But.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what freedoms would you say you're most thankful for as a veteran?
Well, I think people just take for granted that the ability to do things, to go anywhere they want to buy anything they want to be anything they want to be. I don't think they fully understand that. There are many countries where they can't. Women can't do things. Men are told what jobs they're going to do. They're not able to progress past a certain level in society. And over here in America, you can do any of that as long as you have the drive and determination to do that. So I couldn't center it, or I couldn't put it into one freedom. Mm-hmm. It's all the freedoms that we have.
Very true, very true. Good words. Thank you for your service.
You're quite welcome.